And because I knew just filming, I do it without love. Because I'm a victim too. And losing your parents when you are a child and knowing that they are killed by humans, it's really something that is gonna shape your life. And then I started traveling, going to Europe, going to the US. And I was making short films, films about sex, nothing about genocide at all. Comedy, that's what I was doing. And it was aired on the TV and everybody loved those films. I actually acted in one of the film where my young brother, he stopped really, he was tired. He went into the streets, started taking drugs. And the only way to do that was to take a part of his life and put it on a screen. And after 1 year, my brother came back. He says, you know what, why did you put this on the film? I say, it doesn't concern you, it's just a story. He says, I want to be better. I want to go back to school. Can you pay me my school fees? I said, wow, but I still had no love to people at all because I knew who I am. And meeting people in the same way we are here, it have really, allowed me to get closer to humanity. But I knew the only cure for my sickness is to tell my family story. And you will see in the film there are a lot of tradition involved about death, burial, and those ceremonies that are happening. And my father used to come into my room, and I was sleeping in his room, and he was asking, "What are you doing in my room with this camera?" It was really, something that was haunting me. And the story, I just knew that I'm not going to tell people really how my mother was raped. I just didn't have the courage. I didn't have the courage to say that my young sister was 11 years old. She was cut into pieces and thrown into a dog pit and burned. How can I go and tell people such a story? It's a shame to a family. It's a dishonor. But I had to have this courage to do so. And the only way to do so was to allow other survivors to speak on my behalf, things I couldn't speak. And so that I can print my personal story and trauma at the same time the national tragedy. And this was the only way to do. The big challenge that I had is time frame. Nobody has 100 minutes to watch a film. We want to watch short films, and that's the time we have. And this is the way we are great people, we are storytellers. We can define how many minutes we want our audience to view the story. Without these 100 minutes, the film is really not complete. Because the genocide, it took 35 years to plan. And it took 100 days to kill 1 million people. If you ask yourself this question, how many minutes are you going to frame the story? If you want to take like a face of a killer, first of all, if he's going to see the camera, he's going to be frightened. He's not going to talk. There is a need of trust between the cameraman, the killer, and the victim at the same time. And the only way to do it is to set your camera a little bit back and zoom into his face and then freeze the frame and have the close up and everything. And that's basically how I got trust of survivors, because I belong to them. And I've been working with media and they knew and I have recorded 600 hours of perpetrators of genocide. People are really proud, seriously, proud to say they killed others. But they're saying, we did this because it was their time to get out of. How can you conceive such a plan? Well, the media was telling us. And they were telling us to go and kill them because they were a cockroach. And we're not killing humans, we're killing cockroaches. And you ask a journalist who was part of the media, who was telling these people the story, how did you tell these people to do it? Well, I'm a journalist, I was paid by the government. Well, you talk to somebody in the government, why did you order a genocide? The government is going to say, well, we were trapped, it was a war, and we need to secure our places as ministers and all that. In the end, nobody in the criminal society is confessing. And then when I met the person who killed my father, he didn't have a choice. Because of, I had 262 questions, and I only asked him 7 questions. And then in the end, he tells the story without saying that the government sent me or the media and all that, and he repents. That was the key to my heart. A criminal who's repenting is actually a better criminal than the one who denies. Because it's now it's you. What are you going to do? Are you going to hate him just because he killed your parents? And then you're going to live with the hatred forever? Or are you going to forgive him? He says, please forgive me. I can't say you are my brother anymore. I offended you. I wounded Rwanda. It's a shame on me. I had no choice. I forgive you. But forgiving you doesn't take the space of the law. The forgiveness is not above the rule of law. The law has, we need justice. Because impunity will allow the cycle of genocide again. That's really the whole story behind my story.